Hey guys, Team Stamp West here. Another quick video of what's in the bag for my fairway drivers. Again, very similar to concept of my mids. I try and keep my fairway drivers pretty simple and pretty similar feel to them. So we'll jump right into it. First up, we have a Z Heat, Team Stamp Z Heat. This is a max weight heat, and the heat for beginner players is a fantastic starting driver. Lower speed disc. Still has some stability to it, but in general is an understable fairway driver. I'll throw these off the tee for, understable fairway shots around maybe 300 feet or so. These, for me, I can really give them a little hyzer flip or release them flat even, and they will fade right. Has a good dome to it. Still has a lot of glide. You can still get a lot of distance out of these, even as a primary driver. But in terms of a fairway driver, good understable mold. Next up, we have a Z Mantis, and again, very similar hand feel to the Heat. Maybe a little bit more narrow rim on these even, but a little more stable. I think these are a 0.8 versus the Heat is a 0, I believe. Again, a max weight Mantis, and I kind of consider these as a one angle, one turn disc. So if I need something to maybe just hold a slight hyzer, these will generally flip up but then still have some good finish. I throw these a lot if I need something that is a very flat release but then has a slight ante. These are really a fantastic driver. You can really do a lot with these depending on the angle of release. Great fairway drivers, again, great off the tee, have enough stability to definitely hold some full power off the tee box. So a fantastic fairway to have in your bag. Next up, we have a first run Z Undertaker, and this one is 168 grams, so this is actually a little bit lighter. And this one, being a little more worked in, is actually getting a little closer to my Mantis, with a little more stability at 1.4. It's a little more trusty, especially if there's a light wind. But this one, for me, has just become a very straight thrower. Has lost some of its fade, but really straight out to about 300. 325, somewhere in that range. I can really release this flat or with just a slight bit of hyzer, and it'll stand up and just goes very straight. A lot of people like the test flight Undertakers, but I think if you get a little bit lighter Undertaker, 168, 169, you can throw these really straight, really far. But definitely great if you're a newer player. Maybe a little bit more stable at 1.4, but for intermediate or upper level players, Undertaker is definitely a must-have in the bag. And my last fairway is another first run Undertaker. This one is a little bit flatter. I'm not sure if you can see it, but given that it's a little flatter, this one ends up being a little bit more stable. This one is probably my most used disc in my bag. I throw it off the tee box, I throw it on the fairway. These just have a phenomenal hand feel, very comfortable, very easy to release, and these are very straight with some fade. For me, I can put it on a little hyzer, I can put it up high, I can put it on an anhyzer and know that it's still going to straighten out. Another great utility fairway, but definitely a must-have in your bag. I carry 2 Undertakers. At one point I had 3 in here. Carrying 2 or 3 of these that are slightly different is a phenomenal idea. So that's it. Again, trying to keep it pretty simple. I feel like this is a more common newer player fairway driver lineup. You don't have some of the other sort of older molds, the XL, the XS, or the Stalker. But for me, these really fill all of my lines, especially switching up, slight hyzer, slight anhyzer, not too much, but just being able to work with your release. These 4 just really fill all the lines for me. So that's it for today. Thanks.